You feel fine though?
I feel fine. I did out of the
I felt
2.5
better.
weeks or so. Yeah, I think out of the 2.5 weeks, I think maybe 4 days I was really fatigued
Down bad.
and yeah. I don't know. It was weird, but anyway, we're here now. So
Yeah, man. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Dude,
So am I. Every day, dude.
Three, two, one. Dark Lord.
Dude, okay. We are still in our Halloween stuff, and I need to know immediately
Yeah.
if you've heard this song. It's
Spooky, scary
Halloween.
skeletons?
No. It's the best Halloween song I have ever heard. Full stop. Like every Halloween song
You're
that
building it
I'm
up.
aware of, like the spooky scary skeletons and
The Monster Mash.
Monster Mash, all that, they're like parody, like they're kind of jokey and I don't know, just they feel like more of a joke than like a genuine song. Like Christmas songs, we have like it gets you in that mood and it sets that tone, and we've got tons of them. Anyway, Halloween by J.P. Ashkar.
I don't think so.
Oh boy. I need us to stop for a moment. I need your genuine reaction to the song.
Are you gonna include a little clip of it?
I think so. So
what's it called?
what I need
Ashkar?
Ashkar, Ashkar.
Some people think All Hallows Eve is just for fun and games. Well, allow me to explain. One night a year, the spirits come alive to tickle your fear. Let me be clear. Spider webs, severed heads, it's the dawning of the dead. Ghosts are spawning, demons calling you from underneath your bed. Halloween will make you run, make you scream, deep into the darkness of the night. Halloween will make you live out your worst dreams, deep into the darkness of the night. Oh, Halloween.
Welcome back to 321 Backlog. My name is James, and as always, I'm joined by my host, Alec, who specializes in selling people's grandmothers. Period. I don't know, dude. That sounds pretty spooky.
She's in tip-top shape. She's only got 40K miles. Oh, man.
That grandma, you got to run her till the wheels fall off, dude. What?
Oh, man.
What?
So something else. I'm also recording remotely, which I don't do very often. I toss it on TikTok just to be fun, but I travel for work, as we all know, and I'm recording remotely as my co-host dies from something they just ate.
Drinking a little bit of that caffeine.
What'd you
dude.
drink?
It was
man?
just all at the bottom, dude. I just swigged
no,
like a big sand missile.
Well, you were getting caffeine and cottage cheese. Did you mix it?
It's my classic. It's like some kind of caffeinated powder mixed with vitamin C and Propel, and I just didn't really stir it. I just you might say I raw dogged it. I don't know. It wasn't the way to go.
I was gonna get some caffeine, but I got an early
shit
start
show, dude.
This is great. We're all over the place. We haven't recorded in like a month, and we're just trying to. I feel like it has.
It probably has. Yeah. You've been sick for at least a month.
At least 2 weeks, and I think we had it's been at least 3 weeks. since we recorded last.
So I'm scared half to death right now because it's October, dude, and we played a very, very spooky game.
We're going to get into it a little more. I think I thought it was going to be spookier than it was.
It had a creepy setting, but it didn't.
It was
freak
creepy.
Me out that bad.
Yeah. It had some moments because I tried. So we are talking about We Happy Few today.
Oh yeah. Let's introduce the fucking game. We Happy Few, single player only.
Yep.
Released in 2016, the 7th month of that year.
looking at the Steam page. Let's see, what do we got here? Set in a drug-fueled retro-futuristic city in an alternate 1960s England. Cut off here. Let's see. We Happy Few is an action-adventure game where you hide, fight, and conform your way out of a delusional, joy-obsessed world.
Allegedly.
Joy with a capital J, and that is relevant.
It is.
So interesting. So there's just real quick, because I know we're jumping into like stuff about it, but I had picked this game initially because I tried playing it a couple years ago, closer to when it came out, and I got through maybe the first couple of minutes, and you snap out of this fugue state and start and are beating like a piñata, and it turns into the delusion fades away, and you're like beating a dead rat with a stick, and it was just like the whole tone shifted, and it was just creepy, right? So and then I stopped playing a few minutes after that. So that's what I went in thinking that's how it was going to be like the whole time. Not so much, but yeah, 2016. It came out from Compulsion Games with Gearbox Software and Publishing. Designer David Spears, and it looks like it was released for the PS4 and up, and Xbox One and up, and also PC. Which what did I play this on? I did a combo of my Steam Deck and PC. I kind of bounced back and forth.
I played only on the Steam Deck, Valve Steam Deck, the 2 terabyte edition.
Yeah. And as far as scores that I was finding, it did like slightly above average.
Yeah.
IGN 7.3, Metacritic was mid 60s based on the platform it was for.
Damn.
But it which I feel like it I probably agree more with IGN. Like it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't the worst thing I've ever played. So I liked it overall.
I don't know, man. 7.3 seems a little high. We got to get into it. We're gonna dig into it.
So what else on our housekeeping stuff? So I believe it was mine on our list.
Yeah, you picked it. Why did you pick it? Because it was Halloween-ish, spooky a little bit.
Yeah, Halloween.
You got this game free, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did I?
You
I've
did.
had it for a while in my library.
Yeah, it was on Steam, right? Yeah, obviously.
Yes.
I played it on Steam. But just to give you a hint. Okay. Did you know anything about... I didn't know anything about this game. I looked when I typed game similar, and it said BioShock, and I was like, okay, that sounds cool.
I feel like any game that has first-person melee combat as like a big component gets compared to BioShock. Like every
BioShock kind of set the precedence for a lot of games, I think, too.
Yeah.
It did a good job. Well, this is not even the game we're talking about, but yeah, I don't know. No. There were definitely some similarities to BioShock, time period being
for
one.
Sure. Yeah.
A little bit of the, I don't know, I want to say maybe some of the steampunk atmosphere a little bit, but
yeah, because it was in the same time frame.
I did not. So. It's not what I expected.
Yeah,
that's other than the time period. It's not what I expected, but
let's see here. I gave it a pretty high score for like the graphics and more so on the art style. I think for 2016 the graphics were on par, but I liked the art style more so than the graphics themselves. I think the art style was really, really nice.
I didn't like the art style.
Why not?
This setting, the art style of the settings were good. Like I liked that, but I didn't like the character models. They just looked.
Well, I think the problem with this was they used 4 character models.
Yeah,
they
not really strong suit.
Yeah, you had 3 main characters, which I didn't know about originally.
Nope, I had no idea.
Yeah, you've got their models, and I think as far as NPCs and enemies, there was maybe 5 more.
Yeah,
and
not many. I noticed that too. Yeah, everybody looked the same pretty much.
Yeah.
Everybody looked the same either way. Like, I mean, I guess that's partially because of the masks and stuff like that. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of everybody just being like a lanky British guy or gal.
Yeah. I think it was because you start out kind of not in the most populated area, but at one point you end up going into a city. And so there's people walking around and stuff, but it was very noticeable that it's just the same character models. You know, the AI is just moving them around the areas, but you could see like, oh, there's like 3 of that old lady, like just moving around. It was just it was just noticeable because there were so few models, just like duplicated over and over again.
You can reuse models very easily, but if you do it like blatantly, it gets kind of ridiculous. Everybody is a triplet, like
right.
What about the sound quality?
Why did I was a little poor on my notes here. I gave it 7. I also gave the voice acting a 7. I didn't like the I think I was noticing in my playthrough the ambient noise and the music, where there was music, and the voices were coming in at different volumes and different levels. Like when you're
that's another similarity to BioShock.
Yeah, when your TV cuts and you can't hear any of the dialogue, and then music and sound effects go off and you have to turn it way down. I kept having a disconnect of the voices coming in way too high compared to everything else.
Right. Yeah, there was definitely some, and again, I mean, I did experience kind of the same thing in BioShock, but there were some weird inconsistencies in general with the sound, but it wasn't anything that interested me. I don't know. There's some games where you have sound quality that just stands out, whether it's like a huge element of the game or it just fits in really well, but this one, it was just pretty generic, I think.
Yeah.
Voice acting, the same thing. I don't care, man. I'm tired of hearing hoity-toity English people just hoity-toity. Like I'm tired of it.
I made a lot of my notes as I was playing through Arthur's portion, and I wasn't a fan of Arthur. I think it was mainly the voice and his dialogue, and
he was like very monologue-y kind of.
And they did a lot of flashbacks with him, and every time they flash back, that audio was jarring. Like it was good content, good story, but when it flashed through, it was just like he had a lot of flashbacks to a wartime and a bad thing that happened, and there was a lot of like screaming and stuff going on, and that bled through in like a really negative way for like the listening experience.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess the big thing to discuss is kind of gameplay and mechanics. Really, I mean, it was a game, and there was a mechanic. You know,
it was first person.
It shouldn't have been,
and I call that out because I don't like first person melee. I despise it. I think this game would have worked really well if you took away the combat. You didn't. I think in Arthur's case, because that's how you go into first, and that's the good half of the game. The game's about 8 to 10 hours, depending on your speed through it.
Arthur felt like the main character, yeah.
Yeah, they put his storyline in place, and then the subsequent characters weaved in and out of Arthur's.
Yeah.
So But the combat, and I think I had this issue when I did Melee, the Melee portions of BioShock. You would have to walk up, swing, immediately walk back, wait a minute, walk up, swing. It was just that weird. It was not an organic process of fighting compared to some of your other like third person options.
I don't mind. Okay, first of all, as far as sneaking goes, I feel like it should have been, if you're going to make a game where you have to sneak around, just make it third person. You can have so much better spatial awareness. The combat in this game, dude, so bad.
It was bad.
Dude. It was horrible. Bad. The NPCs were like rock bottom trash stupid. There was, I mean, I really didn't even have very many parts in my playthrough where I did combat. You could just walk away from things.
Yeah,
because they
I
would
found that
stop
out pretty quickly.
and yell and then and take forever. I don't know. I don't. It's so weird that the combat was so lacking in this game. It's a video game, you know. It doesn't. We've played plenty of games on this podcast where you don't have to have like extensive combat, but if you're going to include it, don't do it like that.
Yeah, I think for me it was the poor combat system because it was really just take a blunt object and hit. Yeah. Right. And that was it.
And then he's like, "Oh, I can't believe I did this." Person,
oh my lord! And going back to the sneaking, the field, your field of view, your field of vision was so unoptimal. Like you were. It was like it was like the camera was in front of his face, not like where his like eyes would be. It was just like it was like too far ahead, and you couldn't see anything. Every time you tried, the only thing you could sneak with to where you actually had a mechanical stealth element is like the tall grass or bushes or something.
Oh my god!
And it got to the point where I couldn't see through the bushes. Because it's like, so how do I sneak and like, you know, find people to, you know, to do my effective sneaking if I can't see anything?
Well, you could like see where their footprints were sometimes.
Yeah.
But again, dude, that is so stupid. Like that's so unrealistic. First of all,
so you're dealing in a 3D space, but you can see little 2-dimensional highlights kind of far out of the way. It was cool that the feature was there. It just wasn't done very well.
I didn't like that. Yeah. I don't know. I played like we talked, you know, I've played some Metal Gear Solid, those kinds of games. There's some that guy can be pretty sneaky. But I feel like it just fits in better in a third person world. You can hide behind objects.
Right.
You have much better awareness of your character, you know?
Yeah.
The stealth in this game was borderline. Well, first of all, it was pointless, but it was also borderline, you know, just didn't need to be there. But that's beside the point. I know there was one part where I was kind of just struggling with the stealth, and I thought maybe it was because I was playing on the Steam Deck, playing in bed, whatever, and I ended up getting caught by this guy, and I just casually walked away and then made it to the next point, and then it all goes away, you know? It just, the cut scene, and then you don't have to deal with the guys anymore. And that's just strange, man. It's just a strange thing. It's moving on.
We try not to shit on these games for the whole time because there are things I like
game,
about
though,
it,
bro.
But we hit game mechanics before we hit story. So the game mechanics are literally the worst part of this game. The story I found was actually very, very good. I did some research on this game after playing it and rewatching some cutscenes and stuff. I found a tagline of an article for this game. I forget. I didn't mark where I found it from, but I love the quote: "An amazing story weighed down by a bad game."
I agree.
That is.
I saw that as well in my research.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. The story is really. I liked it, but it was bogged down by just really bad gameplay.
No, I think a lot of people were really excited about this game, like in the early stages of it, because it was supposed to be different than it turned out. At some point, the studio got purchased or something, and it didn't go in the direction that people were hoping for.
Yeah, because there was a couple of videos of like how it was being developed and everything, and there was a ton of hype on it, and it was kind of like a as the hype was coming in, it was still like a work in progress, and they had to keep changing it around. And what they landed on, again, great story. It just
bad game.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of mechanic. I guess we're still talking about mechanics. The joy really hardly was a part of this game.
I thought it was going to be a lot more.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be, you were going to have to kind of, use it more than once. I don't know, dude. That's weird to say. But yeah, I thought it was going to be a mechanic to help you fit in or something like that. No, you just walk away. Just walk away, Jim. Yeah. Walk away.
Yeah. And really, because we can kind of get into story, and we'll hopefully get away from the bad bit. But in this world, we're in an alternate 1960s in Wellington, Wells, which is I don't know exactly where it is. It's just in the UK, but
I've never been there.
You've got this drug called Joy that is making everybody happy. And the reason I picked this game, because I thought it was spooky, is that the first couple of minutes, something kind of triggers a bad memory, and you kind of like get kicked out of that high of joy, and the whole world does a 180 of like really colorful and all that to dark, gloomy. Everything looks like it's rat pinata. Yeah, it's just everything's in disarray. It was just a very eerie feeling. And then fast forward 10 minutes after that, and you're no longer taking your joy, but everything looks normal-ish.
Right.
It's not super bright and colorful, but it's also not like super creepy. It's like just as you come off of your joy, you dive too deep, and then you have to wait to come back to a normal level. But the most of the game is just like normal atmosphere, not creepy, not happy. It's just like a weird in between, just everyday life.
I feel like the first hour of this game was made by different people. You know what I mean? Like the first hour of this was so atmospheric, and such like the setting was set up so well, and then it was just generic. It was generic joy, dude. We want the real thing.
And it was real frustrating, because if they took out the combat and got rid of a lot of these, it was a lot of like fetch quests. Okay, go talk to person A. Okay, they won't help you until you go get this one thing. It was a lot of that back and forth, which, I mean, a lot of games have variations on like the fetch quests, but this one there was no variation.
Oil,
it was just consistent. It was the cod liver oil was a story beat, but
fucking measles though. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I don't know if that's accurate or not.
I don't think it is. I don't know.
You're the doctor.
I don't know, dude. Whatever.
But if they got rid of the combat, and if they cut down all the fetch quests to talk to different NPCs that were really inconsequential, if they shaved a lot of that off, made this into like a 4 to 6 hour game, it would have been perfect. To just no combat, dial it way back down to like purely stealth. I think it would have done so much better, in my opinion, or would have played so much better. So yeah, they've got the joy to keep them happy, and everybody's wearing these in Wellington Wells, these masks, these white smiling face masks that are, I guess, used to force their face into a smile.
Nothing weird.
Not just
that.
To look like you're smiling, but it's supposed to like hold your mouth back and keep your cheeks high and do all that to like force you to physically smile. And I did like the what are the policemen called?
Bobbies, yeah.
Yeah, the Bobbies. I did like British, their character model, though they were,
every single one of them.
Yeah. I did. They were all the same, but I did like the character model. It was very the faces were very exaggerated. Very. I liked it. I did like how those looked, but
I liked the like at the like near the end, there was like the guy Jack was talking and he had the mask on, but it was a motion capture. That was creepy looking. It was actually
was it mocap or was it like a live video, like real?
That's what I mean. Yeah. Well, yeah, but that was it was not a CGI thing, I guess is what I should have said. Yeah, that was pretty cool. It was very creepy. Yeah, and yeah, that was the only cool part of the game after the first hour.
No, story wise, I loved the story. It was really good. It
was such a cool idea.
It was. So there's 3 main characters, which I, again, playing this initially and then prepping for this game, for this playthrough, I didn't know there were more characters that were like main story beats. So what it turns out to be is there's 3 acts where you go through each of these characters, and it's the whole idea is to play through how they leave Wellington Wells because they're not taking their joy. They see that this is bad, and they want to get out.
Right. Which was your favorite character? Would you say? Which I guess we'll call them acts. 3 acts. What was your favorite act to play through?
Act 1 was the worst. I didn't like Arthur. I didn't like it. Was a lot of little things that compounded into one. I really liked Sally and Ollie, but for different reasons. I liked Sally's story of trying to protect her kid and all that.
Yeah. Yeah,
but I also liked Ollie as like my spirit animal. He was a
cool character. Yeah, just a little bit deranged,
just rude and crazy, hallucinating his daughter.
I think it was his. He thought it. Yeah, I think he.
I wasn't.
Was
quite
his
sure
neighbor's daughter? He turned his neighbor's daughter
like
in or something.
Oh,
yeah,
that's what it was.
But I think he also thought it was his daughter. I could be wrong. I don't know. Someone please correct me because I need to hear it. I need to be. It's important.
So yeah, we go through Arthur, which turns out to be a grade A schmuck. He was too whiny and complainy, and
dude,
it was, and I think also, because you get through a lot of the bad mechanics all the while playing through Act 1, I think that was going against Arthur as well, because it was hard to play.
Yeah, the game picked up in the later acts, like as far as enjoyability.
Once you got to Sally, it was great. It was
Sally's.
It was a lot less combat because it was going from Arthur, who's like they tried to in some of the stuff I saw online, Arthur was supposed to be like a very balanced character.
Boring.
Sally was very smart but frail, so she couldn't really fight as well, but she used like more sneak and like drugs and things to incapacitate.
Right, yeah. Cunning.
So avoiding combat.
Yeah.
And then Ollie was like the exact opposite, where just like a pure tanky motherfucker, knocking people
hits
down.
Hard, hits slow.
Real hard. Yeah. So
there was I wanted to, I don't know, in my notes I did put Rat Pinata. I liked that a lot. I also put Head Boys. I know that was the name of the first gang that you kind of encounter, the Head Boys.
Oh, with the weird helmets and all that.
Yeah, strange name.
Yeah, I don't. Was that a gang that was called the Head Boys? Because I kind of glossed over. I think I fought them a couple times, but I kind of ignored what they were all about.
Yeah, you sneak into their place and you get pinned against like your childhood friend or something like that. There was something that only happened to me. Yeah, as Arthur, the grade A schmuck.
I don't.
Yeah, you get like they basically give you like a non-lethal and a lethal weapon, and they tell you have to fight this guy.
Oh, like right up in right very at the
early.
Beginning.
Yeah. When the game was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Head Boys. I don't know.
Yes,
I put that. I liked that area. It was cool. When that happened, I was like, I was getting through that part, and I remember thinking, like, I don't see what everybody hates about this game. It's pretty fucking good. And then once the head boys were relieved of their position, it came downhill. I liked the part with the fake tanks when you're talking to Ollie and like you fall through. You know, there was a guy in World War II that did that, or not a guy. It was a strategy, I guess, against the Nazis. Really? They did like inflatable tanks and stuff like that, and they would like make it look cool. Like they had you got no chance. We got so much tank. We have so much.
Yeah,
tanks.
I'm not a history buff by any means, but I guess this was when it was, you know, World War II, UK versus Germany, but Germany won. I think. Was
and that their method of like surrendering was to get everybody joyed up.
They were no. So the joy was a reaction to the thing that's been deemed by the community as the very bad thing, which I missed this in my playthrough, but had to go back and did research afterwards. The very bad thing. Yeah, the very bad thing was Germany won, which is not what happened. And
not yet, dude. They're playing the fucking long game.
And as and because I finished this a couple weeks ago, so I'm trying to remember this because we've been trying to nail down our schedules. But for some reason, whether it was a draft or something else or punishment, I can't remember the exact reason. All of the children a certain age or younger had to be shipped off to Germany. So it was like Germany won. Germany wants our kids. I don't know if it was like we're going to like draft them to our side and get them accustomed to German life, or if it was something else. But anyway, all the children were forced to leave. That's all the flashbacks that Arthur's having was when his, I believe, younger brother Percy was being shipped off. We come to find out that Percy was being put on the train, and Arthur was supposed to go with him, but was the wrong age, either too old or too young. But he was the wrong age and wasn't allowed to go. He might have been too old, and that's kind of the flashback and horror that he's been having, is remembering him losing his brother. So that was the very bad thing. No children in Wellington Wells for 15, 16 years. So Joy is there to make everyone forget and be happy from the very bad thing. How do you feel about that?
That's a little convoluted. I feel pretty good about that.
So yeah, I'm ready to move on. That's Arthur's whole thing, and
we'll put a pin in that.
Just to tie it off, because after you go through all of Arthur's stuff, he finally gets out and finally remembers all of the stuff, and it turns out, this is why I gave him the grade A schmuck, was he convinced Percy to get on the train and leave. Percy went up first, and then Arthur basically lied and said he wasn't able to go for, again, it was an age thing. He wasn't able, he was either too old or too young, whatever. But he told the people that were like organizing, taking the children, like, yeah, I'm the wrong age. I can't go anymore. And basically lied to stay after he convinced Percy to go. So he was a piece of shit.
Yeah, not a very brotherly thing to do.
So that's
and he like blocked that at memory out a lot.
Right. So yeah, the more you take Joy, the more your memories get fucked. And he was remembering the bad part and the emotional part of it, but he wasn't remembering the details.
That it's entirely his fault.
Yep.
Sally
Arthur
Boyle
sucks.
Yeah.
Sally was pretty fucking cool. So
yeah, apparently go on.
No, apparently Sally and Arthur were like high school sweethearts or something.
There was
from their teenage years, they were like a thing.
Yeah, sure.
And she left.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
Some point.
The guy is a loser.
Yeah,
he killed his own brother, sort of.
Basically,
condemned his brother at least. I liked, dude, Sally's kind of like, her stuff was like kind of wild, man. Like all of the stuff, like the shit that happened in it, it just felt kind of wacky a lot of the time comparatively. Like Arthur's was boring. He's a boring character. The stuff that happened in hers, there was like the cult type of people, you know, I don't know. It just seemed, it felt, this is a Gearbox game, I guess, which is who makes Borderlands, and her chapter kind of reminded me more of like the Borderlands style that I would have liked to see more.
You know, without the dark outline art style from Borderlands, I can see a similarity in their in that art style.
Yeah, Borderlands has like the hand drawn.
Borderlands has the very
Yeah.
But just like, you know, proportions of their nose to their face, like all that does have similarities on the Borderlands stuff. That's cool. I did not notice
Cod
that.
liver oil for measles.
Is that accurate? Historically accurate, Mr. Dr. Man?
I don't think it is. I think cod liver oil is just like an essential fat.
I'm gonna look it up.
I think it's a triglyceride.
Cod liver oil measles. Let's see.
It's omega-3
An older
fatty
study
acids.
in England found that 1 ounce per day of cod liver oil containing about 40,000 what's IU?
International units.
International units of vitamin A plus vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids reduced measles-related deaths in children.
Fuck me, dude.
It just said also. I guess it was a thing. So yeah, the cod liver oil was, she was trying to get it from somebody, but that particular person that most likely had it was upset with Sally.
Happens all the time.
Sally gave Arthur the fetch quest of getting cod liver oil.
Yeah.
Because her secret baby, because that was the only baby in the last 15, 16 years in Wellington Wells. I don't know who the dad was. It was one of the NPCs.
It wasn't Arthur. That guy does not get laid.
No. I think it was that, like the politician guy, like the general or the old guy.
Oh yeah, maybe.
I think it was him. But anyway, so she's got this secret baby, and who's got measles apparently, and crying all the time. So like the level of stress, like kind of like going into her shoes for that, of like if anybody hears it, or sees it, instant insanity, which is just terrifying to me.
What did she invent? Was it Blueberry Joy or something?
Yeah, she was helping make Joy, and she called it Blueberry. I think it probably was flavored blueberry, whatever.
What?
But I guess that version of Joy, it didn't have the harsh when they come off of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't as harsh. So they liked, because they were using it so often. And in the story, they're outside of Wellington Wells in the Garden District, people that are forced to leave, they're downers. And it's like a mixture of people that left by choice and some that had built up such a tolerance to Joy, they couldn't take it. So these people these people are taking it so heavily that it's not lasting as long, and when you come off of it, it's horrendous. So the Blueberry Joy that she was making, I guess, helped that when they came down, it wasn't as bad.
I like the idea of them developing a tolerance to a medication that everybody has to take, and it's slowly becoming less effective, and then you start to see reality. That, again, was a very cool concept for this game.
Antibiotics for everything? What?
Yeah, dude. Oh my God, don't even. Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to add about Sally Boyle?
Let's see here. I liked...
Ooh, I did not like her arms. Every time they were in the shot from the first person perspective, she just had like a black rubber suit. I didn't care for that.
It was like her cat like cat burglar suit or something.
Yeah, cool.
I think it was a rubber suit because there was like part of the puzzles and things you had to get through in this game. One of them was like something that was electrified.
Yeah.
So you had a rubber suit to be grounded or whatever.
I don't know. It's fine. I thought of it. It was very like they did a great job with whoever their rubber guy is, did a great job on that texture.
Do you remember going through what it was back on Arthur's, but when he went into that, like, it was like a fetish house and they were like shocking each other and doing all that, is when Arthur had to go in to get something, another fetch quest or whatever it was, but it was in like the House of Rubber or something. So it was like,
oh, I remember the name. Yeah, like that the name rings a bell.
Yeah.
I might have managed to block that out.
A lot of it you could skip through. You could kind of get to where you need to get the item and leave. But there was one big window on a wall with a curtain and a button outside. And if you hit the button, the curtain comes up and there's two people in this room with rubber suits on. And somebody's Christ. like pulling, exposing their skin and like getting shocked as like a pleasure-y thing. It was weird. But the one other thing I want to say about Sally, that because I think I mentioned this before on the cast, like ever since I've had kids in media, stuff with kids to me hits harder.
Right,
because it just for the briefest of moments for me, you get into like, oh, what if that was my son or my daughter or whatever, right? You have that like briefest of moments of like, shit, what if that happened? And it hurts all the time, like every time, no matter how big or small it is. So I think that's why I think I like Sally's story the most, because the first introduction into the baby, somebody comes in to get Blueberry Joy and she's out of it and they are not happy. So they bust in and start scouring her house looking for it and get to the room with the baby and end up picking up the baby in this like crazy state.
Yeah.
And it was like, I genuinely didn't know what was going to happen. I was like scared of it. That was, which not spooky, but it's still scary, right? Which is what the
straight up horror
is
at its finest.
Yeah. So that I think I just kind of put her situation, like it made it real, you know? So
yeah, well, having kids makes a character for you as a person with kids. It automatically gives you another layer of a way to identify with them more, you know?
Yeah.
A whole extra layer that.
And with Ollie, I don't remember, because we can't remember if it was his daughter or a kid he knew.
I think it was the neighbor's daughter, because he turned the neighbor in. He turned his neighbor in, or the person across the street or something. He turned them in, and I think they clapped his daughter out, I think is what they did.
Mm. Yeah, by the time I got to Ollie's stuff, I was drained.
Fucking over it.
So, yeah, because even though the story was good, the mechanics never got better.
Yeah.
So I think Sally's was nice because it was less combat, which was, I think, the worst part. Right. So she had less combat. Though Ollie was and this is so frustrating that moving into Ollie's stuff, Ollie was built for combat.
Right.
But the majority of Ollie's whole thing is taking this one that one bitch hostage for like, I think like it get over an hour of gameplay where you're like, I can't remember her name, but he gets into the city and talks to this one higher up lady who holds a lot of weight in like the
hierarchy of Joy.
In the hierarchy of the city
Wellington
or whatever.
Wells.
She's like, she's like on the council of something or whatever. She has a lot of influence.
She's the Bob Barbas of Wellington Wells.
Oh, that was a weird laugh.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. So anyway, but a lot of Ollie's gameplay is trying to convince this lady to do a thing, but you like got her tied up in the house.
Yeah.
And it's So a lot of it is not actually playing the game, it's conversations.
Right.
With the character that can do a lot of damage and do combat well. Which I think was kind of a misstep. But anyway. But yeah, Ollie's whole thing is he is actively going crazy, but he's not from joy. We've been talking about this little girl. He's been seeing this little girl constantly for who knows how long. I guess trying to like make I don't know if he was trying to make better, make good by her or whatever, but he ends up getting forced out of his little place he's calling home. And that's what it was. He starts remembering stuff from the war, and he had information that was kept from the public, I think, with like the fake tanks and stuff. That Arthur had found the fake tanks. Ollie knew about it, and like the higher ups in the military also knew about it, obviously, because they were the ones that have the tanks. But he was taking joy and was forgetting all of that. And then once he left
Wellington
and stopped taking his joy, he started having that info come back.
I think as far as the story goes, some of the convoluted parts of it kind of are what we're talking about right now. Just some of this. Another thing too I noticed is that this, can I compare it to BioShock, please?
Absolutely not.
Okay, we're gonna stop now.
No, go ahead.
So in BioShock, there was like
notes
that you could pick up that were like voice memos. And they did it also. Borderlands did the same thing. There would be voice memos that would kind of help you get a better understanding of characters or the setting. In this game, it was all menu-based reading, which is not a good thing for a game that's already lacking. Like, I don't need to take a break from this combat to read that. The game would have been better if they were just narrated. They could read it as a voiceover while you play through. I know you guys.
There were those little collectible like floating masks,
right? And they did what that again?
They basically triggered a flashback or a memory of whichever character you happen to be playing as.
Don't care.
They weren't super frequent though.
Yeah.
It was for every one of those there was like 20 different notes.
Yeah. They should have just had it like narrated out loud the way they do in a lot of other games. Yeah. I know it would have cost more for a voice actor, but I don't know. Gearbox, you can hire me next time. I will get your games out proper.
No, I think I get completely overhaul, as in remove the combat system. Make it stealth, right? Make it conversation and stealth. And
what if you had a lot more instances like where you had to talk your way out of it, kind of like in like Skyrim or Baldur's Gate, where there's like options to try to talk your way out of stuff? Yeah, that would have been kind of cool because that would make more sense for each character. Like Ollie would be very bad at that, but Arthur would be probably fine.
Right.
I bet Miss Boyle would do great at that.
Right.
Yeah, that would have been kind of cool.
I think get rid of the combat, fix the stealth, because the stealth was promising but just fell flat. And in the case of Arthur being a little over 50% of this game, cut his shit down to like
none,
a third of what it was.
Yeah.
Right. I think because they're slowly regaining their memories back, give him more chunks of that of his realization of the past a lot quicker. And I think you would admit that. I don't think there had to be much adjustment to Sally or our Ollie's section. I think there's, outside of the issues we've been calling out, I think their storylines and their playthroughs were pretty okay. I think Arthur's being so long is what killed it.
Yeah. One thing, 3 different characters and they all had like their unique traits and everything. Mm-hmm. I feel like Ollie's was really the only one that in the gameplay made a difference, like how he was strong in combat kind of thing. I feel like Arthur's like, if I can remember what Arthur's traits were, it was like you could sit on a park bench and people don't notice you.
It was like blending in.
Did you do that ever? I didn't.
No, not really.
You know, I feel like there were like concepts in this game that just didn't make it into the final.
Right. Yeah, I feel like this game either needed to be a lot shorter or they needed to flesh out some more things and make it more open world.
Yeah.
Because I think that would have worked as a concept. You know, they would have needed a lot of work on what they had, but I could see this being a bigger game.
Right.
But I think that would have been a heavier lift than just making it a little bit more short and sweet.
Yeah, I just want to say I think it was an amazing story weighed down by a bad game, and I thought of that. That's something I came up with.
I did like through all the story beats and the cutscenes between Arthur, Sally, and Ollie. They had cutscenes with each other, and then you started with Arthur, then Sally, then Ollie. When you went back, once you got to like Sally's portion, and then had that same cutscene but from her perspective.
Right.
I really liked how they did that. I actually went back and watched the interactions between Arthur and Ollie, and I missed it the first time. But when you first meet Arthur, he's just talking nonsense. But it turns out he's talking to the little hallucination. So when it shows from his perspective, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
it's
that's pretty
less
funny. Yeah,
chaotic. But when you meet him as Arthur, it was just a shit show.
Yeah.
So I really liked that story beat, the different ways they connected those stories.
Yeah, it was interesting too because they kind of had different perspectives on like what happened. Like they're not reliable narrators, kind of. Which kind of
they were doing it from what the characters thought happened, and it wasn't necessarily what happened. How they perceived it. So because Arthur and Sally being like ex-lovers and stuff, Arthur has no idea for most of it that Sally has a kid. So he's like, she's being just crazy selfish, and the cod liver oil, that's what you're worrying about when I'm trying to save my life and maybe save my brother if I can find him. Why do we need cod liver oil?
Yeah, well, because there's a baby with measles, and that is the only cure for measles.
Well, that's the thing. She didn't tell
him. Right, and that's
true.
So
so he's like, this bitch, what is she doing? Fine, whatever. And you left. And she's sitting there like, I'm trying to say, help my kid. But she can't really talk about it because she can't have it. It's unsafe for people to know.
Think of any other game where you had a stupid fetch quest and you thought it was pointless, and just remember what we're talking about right now. Maybe that pizza you had to deliver in Death Stranding was very important. Maybe
Lord.
Getting the music in Stray was the only thing keeping that robot from just powering down forever. It was probably not.
We'll never know. We'll never know.
It's hard. This game is hard to discuss the endings, like the ending, because I feel like, it wasn't like a conclusive one end. They all had multiple kind of perspectives to end it on.
Right.
So I don't know if we can really talk about that.
I think we can. It's
go.
The thing is they're open ended.
Right. Yeah.
It's because their whole goal is to leave this one town.
It's basically,
and once they do that, the whole the world is their oyster. But
it's Stray all over.
I think again. I texted you about this where I had credits roll within the first 30 seconds of me playing. Did I tell you about this?
It doesn't sound even remotely familiar.
It's an alternate ending, and I think it's there as a joke. So
oh wait, you just take the joy.
The very first option of the game is: do you want to take your joy and forget your brother? Or do you want to remember? And I was like, I'll just take my joy. And you take it, everything goes sunny, and then credits roll. Because it's like your character is deciding to not engage in their story to leave.
I think I would probably just take it. Like,
yeah.
What was the name of the joy that like Obliviate joy or something? It was like a Oblivinator.
Were the ones was it in like the vending machines?
No, there was like a perma joy that you can take where you just like forget everything.
Oh, I don't remember.
It was like Oblivinator or something. I don't know. I want that.
It sounds good.
I wanted that after I played the game.
Oh man. So yeah, I mean, Arthur. I mean, we've talked a little bit about Arthur's. He was trying to get to his brother, or see. He wanted to get out to then try to find his brother to see if his brother's still alive. That was his whole goal. So he finally makes it out, and you get one more choice with Arthur, with that policeman on the bridge as you're leaving, with one last chance. Do you want to forget, or do you want to keep going to find your brother? And you can make that choice one more time. And if you forget, or excuse me, if he decides to not take the joy, he goes off, and then I think he meets he's just walking in the woods, and I think he meets another boy, like a kid. So it's showing that like
very adult.
No, it was like a young adult, like between 10 and 14 or something.
Yeah, sure. He just looked kind of scruffy.
Yeah. Well, he looked like homeless, kind of. But anyway, it was basically showing that like other parts of the world are fine.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That was kind of the assumption. Or if he takes his joy and just says, "Fuck it, we don't got to worry about Percy," it fades to black and then comes back to him like in a park on those little like little like little animals you get on with the big spring
or whatever. Yeah,
he's just like riding a little horse, happy as can be. He's got his mask back on. He's like, "Nah, we're good,"
Oh, Ollie. I mean, Arthur.
Man. Oh, Arthur. Sally's was she gets on a boat and drives away.
What did she say no second to the choice. Baby that was so fucking lame? She said
something like, "We get to see the world" or something. I get to show you.
Oh, I can show
where
you.
We can go. We can go where. We can go wherever you want to go or something. It was something.
Oh no, there was like a specific quote, and it was so like it made me feel bad for the writers.
Some of the scripted dialogue was meh.
I'm trying to scroll quickly to see the two. Oh yeah, dude, we'll be the two musketeers.
Oh my lord!
She said that to the baby, and I thought that's pretty.
Yeah.
That sounds like a kind of woman with rubber arms. She would say that.
There you go.
I don't know.
And Ollie Starkey.
Yeah, his ending to me was the most interesting.
Yeah, my spirit animal. He is in a hot air balloon, of course, yelling obscenities down at Wellington Wells, and I believe he whips it out and just pisses on whatever he flies over.
Yep,
it was great. It was fantastic. The best ending.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
Oh man! So overall, how'd you feel about it overall? Like, what's your lasting impression?
I'm glad you asked, and write this down. It was an amazing story, weighed down by a bad game. Dude, I know, but that's how I would describe. It was a good story, man. It was a very cool concept. Something got fucked up when they were making this game, and it didn't come out the way it was supposed to. And I think that's the general consensus of it. Everybody really, it was there. There's not a lot of games that have this cool of a setting where it really truly feels unique and original, which might be the same thing, unique and original. But man, it was fine. It was cool. It was okay. It wasn't my favorite game that we've played on this podcast, but it wasn't the worst.
It wasn't Ori and the Blind Forest.
Dude, that was my favorite game, maybe. I don't know. God of War was hard to top, but I really enjoyed Ori. You fuck. Oh. I'm profane tonight. I'm sorry.
Sorry, man. You've had a long day. You had a long week.
I've had a long life, dude. It's get it over with.
No, I think I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
On this. It was not what I expected.
Dude, I went into this game extraordinarily blind. Like, I had no idea what it was going to be like at all. And I thought that was kind of a cool way, because so many of these games you go in and you know exactly what you're going to get ahead of time. Like, I never played, since we just mentioned Ori, I never played Ori at all.
Right.
But I knew what it was going to be like. I knew it was going to be a platformer. I knew it was going to be a 2D side scroller. But this game, I had no clue, dude. I thought it was going to be very different, but it was an enjoyable experience. I wish it was a little more straightforward with the story, because it was kind of complicated when it didn't need to be, but it was good. It was fine.
Yeah.
Improve the combat, literally speed it up 3 times as much, make it 3 times faster.
Yeah. Give him a gun.
Why were there no guns? Why was it that if I got caught and I hid in a bush, they would stand outside the bush and throw rocks with blazing accuracy? Just a pinpoint accuracy throwing rocks at me.
I don't know.
Why can you use a bottle to throw, but you can't do the old, like, smash it over a table and do the old stabby?
Make a shiv.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Arthur would be like, I don't like that I did this. Or whatever he says.
Every time you choke somebody out, I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. No wonder Sally Boyle left me.
Oh, Lord.
Grade A schmuck. I like that.
All right. You want to bring it to a close?
Good night.
So, yeah, before we sign off, I think that's going to wrap up our discussion on We Happy Few. But we've got one more episode left in our season of Spook.
Ooh.
So, Little Nightmares coming up next.
You like that?
Are you going to do that? Are you going to do that at the end of every Halloween episode?
If you want me to, I'll do it for you.
You try.
I'll do it for you, thirsty listeners.
Oh, Lord. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up.
Next,
check out Little Nightmares.
Yep.
Get that on your list. We will see you next time.
Thanks so much for listening. That wraps up our discussion for We Happy Few. If you enjoyed this episode, please let us know with a thumbs up, a comment, or by sharing with your friends and family. If you're able to do so, play along with us. We'll post upcoming games to our socials and what games are up next at the end of every episode. This has been 321 Backlog with James and Alec. You can connect with us on any of our social media pages or by sending us an email at 321backlog@gmail.com. Until next time.